They take credit cards, bud. If you want to really speculate, you can
all right,
buy
guys,
one
we're
with a
live.
credit card.
We're live.
But that Metabrew Society is badass, and the way it works is they'll actually, so like holding that certificate, they get airdrop me my beer shares, and then you use those beer shares when you go to the website to have them send you your beer. So you always keep the certificate, but those beer shares get burned. So you can actually just sell your beer shares to people for like $1 a piece or whatever the fuck you want to sell it for.
I see you post about that.
Dude, it's fucking pretty cool.
I
dumped a little more into it than I probably should have, but oh well. Speculators, I gotta speculate. But I do get 10 tickets, and I also get to co-brand a beer with them. So I was thinking about doing a Phantom Facts beer, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. I guess 5 seconds of silence, huh?
Is May's mic muted?
Is May not even here? Mayhem. What is this motherfucker doing?
Classic. Just do it. If I could send it.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. If exposed, remove clothes. The emergency broadcast system.
Podcast for the curious mind. I don't know what that means.
Broadcasting live from a German-made microphone deep within the multifamily bunker. I am Jamal here with Devin and with special new guest Sunshine. Welcome aboard, Sunshine. How you doing?
No,
Okay.
I'm all right. I'm good.
Oh no, that's not good.
Great
Sunshine,
start.
I'm gonna have to mute you already. God damn it.
I love it.
We're trying. Spike Cohen joining the show later on today, hopefully, unless he just saw our flat earth episode and decided fuck these guys.
That was so good. Shout out to Dave.
Yeah, shout out to Flat Earth Dave for coming on the show. We do appreciate it. How do you view the world now, Devin, now that it's been shattered into reality?
It's not. It's still spherical.
Oh, he's holding strong.
Yeah, I'm willfully ignorant.
Yeah, I figured you'd buckle. I figured you'd buckle by now.
I am not giving up. I am not calling like legit science pseudoscience. You guys are fucking mental.
But just close your eyes and just like I said, like, wouldn't it be cool if
that was true?
If we were domed and we could go to other worlds, I think that would be fascinating. Would we ever afford to be able to go to those other worlds? No, because the people have those unlocked. But if we could,
I don't see it.
Like that explains the UFOs, like them coming over and checking on us and being like, "Ooh, what are these guys about?"
What is this globe?
Have you ever seen Divergent, or what's the name of that? Is that what that movie series is called, the Divergent series, where they're actually living in a city and they have their factions?
Yeah,
but there's humans on the outside that actually cultivated them, and they're like, "You've reached the apex of what we were trying to do. Join us on the outside world."
Well, Barry Soitoro says legit science is pseudoscience. Man,
yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Gyroscopes. So that's not real. The pendulum.
He gave you an answer for it. He destroyed all your arguments within the first 5 minutes, and then he went on.
I actually looked more into that fucking laser gyroscope.
This was Devin.
And the reason why he was so triggered by Netflix is because that actually just got aired on Netflix, and so I'm just saying they proved themselves wrong with that gyroscope.
I mean, we didn't even get a chance to ask him because you were mum the whole episode.
I was mum because I was just started off saying they weren't real.
Like the cat had your tongue.
Yeah,
like you were scared.
I was just
what it was
down this rabbit hole and letting everybody else hey, You gonna listen to this
It's
guy that said the Cold War never happened and nukes aren't real? Come on.
it reminds me of that story of old Devin. Let's go down memory's lane here. Reminds me of this story of Devin when he was a young lad in Wyoming, and he had a chance to sleep with his teacher, and he pissed down his leg.
This is true.
That was,
I did not pee down.
Devin.
I did not pee down. I did not pee down my leg.
Devin with Flat Earth Dave, just scared, shaking, don't know what to do.
You so dumb.
Tell that story, Devin. Devin, I love that story. That is my number one Devin story. Tell it.
It's a sad story.
It is.
Listen, Barry, we're done with Flat Earth for a year, okay? I'm not discussing it anymore, all right? We did our part. You could have called in, Barry. You could have called in and asked questions, but no, instead, you waited for the next show to ask questions. So it's too bad. It's a loss for you. So we are supposed to have Spike Cohen on, but, he's very busy. So he might be coming on later on the show, or he might just stand us up. I don't know what to make of it. But thankfully, all of you guys brought great topicals.
You haven't heard? You haven't heard from him?
No, I haven't heard. I mean, we were scheduled for 10, but I'm sure Tasha probably made him breakfast, and now he's got the runs or something like that. I don't know. But did you guys see this story? Speaking of other planetariums, asking the public to name the probe to the planet Uranus may have been a mistake. This is who shared this with me?
It was me. It was trended on Twitter there for a while.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess NASA wants to send a probe to Uranus.
That might be uncomfortable.
Fucking children. This is why the aliens don't come. By the way, they're laughing at fart jokes still.
So a space exploration enthusiast account on Twitter asked the internet to name an upcoming mission to the planet Uranus. It did not go well, which is surprise. You would.
Is there audio to this, or just
there
an
was
article?
some
just an
good topics though, like Tempest, because I guess the moons of Uranus are named after Shakespeare's plays. So then they said, let's name it after one of Shakespeare's poems. I thought that was interesting.
No one wants to care. No one cares about the actual reasonable names. They all want to hear.
It's all about who can come up with the better freaking.
Yeah. This seems. One Twitter person said this seems like the perfect time for Astroglide to sponsor space exploration.
I love the internet. The internet always wins when it comes to
send Ron Jeremy up there to.
He doesn't even know his name, but he just still remembers how to put his thumb on it.
Operation Butt Plug was another one offered. Sunshine, she's trying so hard there.
She's like, shit, now I got to get better internet.
Just pretend you're our sign language affiliate. Just signing away at. Yeah, there you go. Yes. What's the sign for the probe for Uranus?
Devin.
We could help everyone out. No, Devin, you're not the official sign language person.
Oh yeah, sorry.
What were some? She's trying again. You can't talk. It's just not working. It's sad. I don't know what to make of it. Sunshine's here for moral support.
Yeah.
Some people were appalled by the fact that they would even take this to the internet. Are you really asking the internet to name a probe going to Uranus? One outraged commentator asked.
Outraged.
Now, yeah, outraged. Ah! It's like, you remember when they wanted to name that boat? And where was that?
I don't remember, but it ended up being Bodie McBoatface was number one.
Yes.
That's the greatest name ever. Oh, it was a science research vessel, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do it. That's the cleanest thing the internet came up with. Bodie McBoatface.
They should have totally named it. It's just, it would have been awesome.
Let's see here. What else? I thought this was interesting. Show the thin skin at NASA. I truly do worry that it will make it difficult to actually get a mission to study this planet because I think NASA would be sensitive to these headlines. Prominent Space Science Institute and Planetary Society astronomer Heidi Hamill told Futurism magazine last year.
Well,
And
Heidi
since-
needs to explore her own sexuality and just get over herself.
I mean, so we can just go to Uranus and steal more billions from the American people, so we can go. Okay, I
Stop.
mean that makes sense. Hopefully, we'll land on Uranus. I mean, nice tight fit. I mean, it'll be poo-tacular. It'll be great. I can't wait.
Pootacular was a stretch.
It's like its number one part of its atmosphere is 80% sulfur and 20% methane.
They said they would be sensitive to all the ridicule that they would get if they wanted to get a mission to this planet. We do want to send atmospheric probes, and we do call them probes. And it's impossible to separate that from the whole aliens probing human things. I don't think that's what people immediately associate when they think of probes, Heidi.
No, I think they should call the group that goes up there the Dingleberries. You know, I think that would be top notch.
Dingleberry mission.
Yeah.
Fucking rimmers.
Yeah. The rusty sheriff badges. Here we go. Here we go.
Anything else? You guys got anything else? You good?
Get your brown
good.
wings on. Yeah. Got my wings today.
Ooh, what mission are you doing? Oh, we're going to Uranus.
Uranus. Just take a quick little probe here. Just another beautiful thing from the internet there. What you were saying, Devin, the boring part of the whole story is since the Uranus moons are named after Shakespearean characters, many people suggested using the mission Tempest as one of the poet's plays. See, that just doesn't sound very fun, but they'll probably end up naming it something like that, won't they? Why
Yes,
is
for
it
sure.
named after Shakespearean plays? Did anyone look into that?
It's probably whoever discovered him was a big fan of Shakespeare, so they just freaking said screw it.
I mean, if anything, we learned from last episode, Shakespeare didn't exist. So it's just, Shakespeare didn't exist. NASA doesn't exist. It's just all coming together now, isn't it?
Well, NASA does exist, but it exists as a front man, I guess, to keep the facade.
Oh, no. So you do believe it then?
No, I don't. I can't. There's no logic in that argument. That's my main problem, I think.
Let's see here. What sorry, I was checking to see if our fearless leader was coming on. Haven't gotten a response back yet. All right, so moving on. We need to talk about a trend that has taken over TikTok.
I love
And
it.
that is cooking chicken with NyQuil.
Yes.
This
What are
is
they
a,
calling it? The Sleepy Chicken Challenge?
Yeah, what a bunch of fucking idiots. Like, idiots.
I saw a meme that was really funny. It says opens internet, sees FDA warning about sleepy chicken, closes internet. That's enough today. You know, I mean, just like, why? Who thinks of it?
Have you seen the video of this? by any chance?
No, I actually have not.
It's gold. The guy's like got the chicken on a frying pan, right?
Okay.
And he starts pouring. He's like, you can use any type of NyQuil. I really like the green NyQuil. And he starts dumping it in there, and he's like, "Whoo, getting sleepy already from the steam."
That's true, because you vaporize medicine, like it's going to your lungs.
Yes. Yeah.
It'd been great if his face would have hit the grill or the pan. You know?
Knocked him straight out. It's got a blue. The chicken's got a blue like tint to it after he cooks it.
Oh, so
Yeah,
that just
it looks not natural. It looks it's not looking. Wait, remember when they what was it? Was it ketchup they dyed? Remember when they dyed ketchup?
mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
still get
Yeah.
purple ketchup and shit,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Green
Yes.
ketchup, all that.
Yeah, that's sort of what it looks like. It looks very unnatural.
Mm.
Not a fan of it.
Ugh.
And they say it can kill you too. So I guess there's
I
that.
imagine you can
Well,
overdose.
remember,
on
did you guys ever
anything.
robo trip back in the day?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It
Remember?
was never
Hey,
fun. I did
was,
it one time, and I'm like, this.
that was the worst hangover. Like I did
It's
that
terrible.
when I was doing setting tools in the oil field when I first started, and I was living with a real shitbag roommate, and he was like, "Hey, I don't have any weed, but we can robo trip," and I was like, "What is that?" So we go to CVS or whatever and get that Robitussin and just slam it. And I tried to drive to work the next day, and at that time I was like 25 minutes from work. Man, I should have been pulled over and thrown in jail. Like I don't know how I made it to work. And I had a manual little 5-speed pickup, and I was just like,
Grinding every gear.
yeah, I could have killed myself or everyone on the interstate. It was so bad. And and my uncle knew, so like he just worked the dog piss out of me, just like, and the other guy, of course, calls in sick. So it's just me having to do like 50 setting tools.
You want to see what May looked like when he was driving to work that day? He's just fucking got the steering wheel and he's just leaned in, like dead focus. Is like when you ever pass somebody and they're just got 10 and 2 and they're just staring at the road, you're like, that guy's on something for show.
What is RoboTrip? I don't even know what that is.
You fucking just down a whole bottle of Robitussin.
That's what it was called?
Or you take a
RoboTrip?
whole pack of pills like I did.
No. Still awful audio there.
Yeah,
it's just horrible. I'm sorry. Like our AI.
She's so mad too.
I know you can tell.
Is there no mic, or is it just the internet?
It's got to be the internet.
Yeah, I think it's the internet. It's just too much for it to handle there.
Yeah,
up there in the hills. The internet. Was that like a trend before TikTok created?
It was like the late 90s. It was a thing. A lot of people did it.
Why did you do that, May?
Just to, I was
You're young.
Young,
like,
and
why'd you ever do
naive
blow
and
on? Yeah,
just impressionable, and I was like, that's cool. I'll do it.
Hey, sniff this powder off this toilet seat real quick. Give you a great high.
I mean, that
Same
does.
thing.
I'm
just saying, same thing. I mean, hey, try anything.
Well, you would do it on the toilet paper thing on top of the toilet paper.
I said on the toilet seat to be gross.
Well, I'm sure that is gross too. On top of where the toilet paper holder is.
This
I think probably never gets wiped.
This powder is kind of stuck to the seat. Somebody,
you just gotta.
What'd you cut this for? Shit.
This seat is warm. It's gross.
Little Clorox, little butt hairs.
Yeah.
Makes the booger sugar better.
This what was it? The CDC came out with the FDA. Thank God our government's looking out for us. They said even if you don't eat the chicken, inhaling the medication's vapors while cooking could cause high levels of the drugs to enter into your body. It could also hurt your lungs.
That's going to be the new thing on those bottles. Like, do not cook with food. Just gotta put it on the fucking warning.
Make sure your chicken is 160 degrees and do not cook with NyQuil.
I mean, that's just some Darwinism's got it, social Darwinism.
Who starts this stuff? You know what I mean? Like that's the most fascinating stuff to me. It's like who actually?
They're just doing it for views, man.
Well,
it's like those videos.
Yeah.
Oh, so annoying when it's like it's just a video of nothing and guy like turns the sink on and he goes, oh.
Well, and these people
those.
get paid by TikTok and Instagram and all, so they're rich and they're just complete asshats that let's cook chicken with NyQuil, and they're probably richer than all of us combined.
Yeah, I would expect the Island Boys to do something like that. Fuck.
I hate those ones that are like the prank and then they last for 15 minutes before they even get to the fake prank. It's not even a real prank.
Yeah.
It's just like a whole setup and you're just sitting there watching it and like you try to fast forward it and then you got to watch 5 commercials and then nothing happens. This is my life, unfortunately, nowadays.
You want to play a game?
Sure.
I have a question.
Okay.
How you're on a deserted island.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you. And who is your crush as a teenager?
Winona Ryder.
It's just you and Winona Ryder
Mm.
on an island. How long before she fucks you? How long does it take?
I would think it'd be almost immediate when she saw me.
Oh, bet. How about you, May? You and your fucking teenage crush. How long before they actually get? You know, you
Who
get
was
there?
your teenage crush, May?
That's what I was just thinking while you were answering that. I don't know.
You can ask Sunshine to sign who her teenage crush was. Who was your teenage crush, Sunshine?
How old is she?
Well, you don't ask a woman that. How dare you? How dare you, May?
I was just gonna guess, like, you know, trending. Like, I could say Tom Cruise if you want. There you go.
It was Tom Cruise, wasn't it?
Bet.
No. Oh no.
Brad Pitt.
See, we're all inclusive. on
Val
this show
Kilmer. She goes back.
here.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Oh.
Just like you gotta
Fucking best Batmans ever. I love Christian Bale.
Motherfucker speaks with a lisp a lot. All his other acting gigs, he's always got like a little lisp, except for Batman when he's gonna talk to.
Because he's like British, isn't he? Or
He's like Brad.
Okay. All right. Go back to
Jesus,
signing.
man.
Go back.
Yeah.
Yes.
does she have a whiteboard she can write on? And blue screen? Or a tablet, piece of paper, something?
May, did you figure out who your do you remember who your teenage crush was?
No, I mean the one that is coming to my head is Natalie Portman. But I mean, I got so many little bobos when I was a teenager. I mean, the wind would blow and it would be on. So,
Shania
but I
Twain.
would say it would probably take. I don't know. I'd have to man up first and look at her, make eye contact, and then after that, I'd
What
like
else are you going to be
less
looking
than
at
a
on a
week.
deserted island? Less than a
Um,
week.
The fucking sand, make sure there's no creatures out there. Like
I got you, Natalie.
try to build a shelter from the weather. I got a lot of things to do than try to clap cheeks to some, fantasy woman. Because then if we get pregnant and then we got to have a baby and then we have to raise it on this
He's living
island,
out his whole life.
like, what job do I have to support these people?
That
I
shows
could
where you're
barely
at in your
raise the
life.
kids.
You've taken on so much
Think of
responsibility.
it. If
now.
you
You're
got her
grown up.
pregnant, you would get a free supply of milk. So that would take care of that issue right there.
But that milk tastes nasty. So
What? It's sweet and delicious.
Have you guys seen that where women sell their breast milk? I think we've
Yeah, have
talked
you ever
about it on
tried
the show.
any?
No, I have not sucked
my
on one
fiance
yet.
sold hers to a company and they paid really well. She had to do it like monthly.
Is that why you
and,
keep getting her pregnant?
No, no.
When my wife went with my twin girls, she nursed them for the whole 12 months. She was making 72 ounces of milk a day and drinking like tons of water. She ate more than I did. And we looked into like selling it, but back then the people weren't buying it then. So I was like, this is cash cow. You can sell a gallon of milk a day. You know what I mean?
Guys use it for their pre-workout formula.
Oh yeah.
It's good. It's good for your skin, and I mean,
actually-
it has a lot of good qualities, or whatever you want to say.
It's sweet. Like surprisingly. No wonder the kids are all just
That's why you see mom titties just beat to hell, just down to the knees, because they just been sucked dry. The passion and the love of their souls come out of the nipples. I mean, it's just rough. Fucking rough.
yeah, I'm glad I'm not a woman, that's for sure.
Wait, who was your teenage crush?
Me?
Devin? Yeah, you've been avoiding this. I'm
I
sure.
had two.
Oh.
Cindy Crawford and Kathy Ireland. Had posters of them in swimsuits on my ceiling. So when I woke up, I'm like, morning, ladies. Swear to God, every time I look around. And they both.
How
still look
sticky were
fucking
those
gorgeous.
posters? Did you have to
They're
hang them
up
with
on the wall.
anything,
Yeah,
or
I-
did you just?
I didn't
and
shoot
then-
buckets like you, you know.
That's true.
Wait,
No,
wait,
but those ladies still are gorgeous.
how long would it take you on an island?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fucking dude. I am.
Well, is this Devin like? How old is Devin? Because if it's Devin back in school, it's gonna take him a minute to realize that they want to bang him.
This is true. That's a sad story. I'll have to tell it some other time.
Hey, we've got time. maybe you thought
You
it was.
want me to
longer.
tell it?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
So Her name is Miss Dunn, Mrs. Jerry Dunn. I was student body president of my school, and the only reason I was is because she talked me into running. But she was also the head of the student body, like sponsor. You know what I'm saying? She was a sponsor for the student body.
Right.
So I ran, and I ended up winning because I'm a popular person, believe it or not.
I don't.
But I was in college prep English. You know what I mean? And she was good looking. She was probably, I think she was in her low 20s. I mean, she was not very old, like compared, I'm like 17, I think. She's like 24, 25. Well, in class one time, she put her hand on my thigh, like near my dick. And I was like, because I asked a legit question, and I was like, I totally forgot my question. You know what I mean? Just like, because she like did that, looked at my eyes. I was all, yeah, I don't remember what I was going to ask you. So like,
Can I go to the restroom?
Stupid flirty shit all the time, but I was writing a paper on Atlantis because I've always had an infatuation with Atlantis.
Why haven't we done a story on Atlantis then?
No, we haven't, have we?
Right.
But so she's like, I actually have a video about Atlantis at my house. If you want to swing by later after school, you know what I mean? I'll give it to you. I'm like, so you can read. I'm like, sweet. So I'm fucking naive as fuck. So she's like, be sure you park in the back of my house and not the front. Because she fucking lived like damn near on Main Street. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's cool. There's a lot of traffic on Main Street. I don't want to fucking be in the way. It's fine. I'll park in the back. So I go there, park in the back, fucking knock. She fucking answers the door. She's wearing a loosely tied fucking robe. And it's like open, like down to like the middle of her chest, and her cleavage was like fucking like right there. And she's obviously naked, almost like she was about to get in the shower, but it wasn't like her hair was wet or anything.
Devin's like, oh, this is bad time. We're not gonna come back.
I was like, yeah, I'm just here for the video. She was, yeah, come inside. So I fucking go inside, and we're sitting there, and she like fucking bends over, like it was, old school. So you got the big 90s TV and the fucking little TV stand it was sitting on. She reaches underneath it, and she looks at me. She does it, and her fucking robe's like open, and I can practically see her whole tit. And she smiles at me and grabs it, and then goes, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Thanks." Fucking like hauled ass out. Like I just whoop, about face, fucking zing out of there. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I remember getting in my car. I'm like, what just happened? Like,
I've never felt these emotions before.
I probably could have fucked her. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I just ended up driving away. I'm all
He starts his
shaking
little
like a little
Zuzu
bitch,
and just goes on about his
and
day.
never ever had another chance. And this was like March-ish.
How old
like,
were you?
17.
Oh, so
She went to the basketball team after Devin shut it down.
But this was like March-ish. Like I was graduating in like a month or something. All right, it was like late March, early April. I'm like, man, I could have banged her and then banged her all summer and then just fucking. But no, never happened.
Devin was onto something before it got popular. Because when I went to school with dragons. I mean, Dungeon Dragon just blues.
Hated it. They were just hated their last years. They just fuck these kids. Here, watch this fucking video and try to learn something, bitch. The test is on Friday.
I mean, coffee breath back to when George Washington was alive. It was like, God damn, woman. Like, get out of my face.
Her dresses still go down to her ankles.
yeah.
Yeah, but I totally pussed out and like never had another chance again. Like all that stuff just kind of ended. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what to make of that.
Fuck. It's like if I had a time machine, what one moment would you go back to? I'm like, there. As soon as I reach the door, you'd see me, my future me going, turn around right now.
No,
Go
that's
back inside. You can't fuck this up. All you have to do is mention just the slightest thing about how great you look, and you're in.
I'd love to have a story like that, but my teacher was my mother. So
yeah, that wouldn't be a good story.
It'd be a Utah thing. Did you guys see this story about the Utah mom that's going to have her son's child? Yeah, that's the pause.
This is okay. So is the son gay?
What?
I've read like one where it's like the son is married to another dude, and they want to have a kid, so then they have like an egg donor, and
I
then
know.
she
No,
carries the
sounds-
kid for them,
No,
like a
sounds-
surrogate.
What is going on with the world that hey mom, just curious if I could borrow your time for the next 9 months.
That's a years old story. I mean, that's not like new. I mean, that happened a couple years ago, I believe.
No, this is this story. This first time I've ever heard of this is a guy married his wife, you know, and she had to have a hysterectomy because it was like cancer or something like that, and they wanted to have kids, and so through was it what's that called? Intravenous, yeah, IVF, yeah.
IVF.
Intravenous.
So the mom who's already popped out, I think she's already popped out 6 kids.
12. Oh yeah.
She's fucking
I
Mormon.
mean, they're from Utah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they gotta be right. I mean, that's just natural assumption. When someone says they're from Utah, you just assume they're Mormon. Am I
Yeah, and
wrong
can
about
we
that?
address that? Why everyone is in Utah like they're either Asian or they're blonde, blue-eyed, and they're all multimillionaires? I don't understand that state at all.
I know a lot of people in Utah that are not multimillionaires. A
Well,
lot of the Samoans. Is that what you're talking about?
Utah. We're talking about Utah. There's
Just-
Samoans in
yeah,
so
Utah.
like in Hawaii,
yeah,
right?
Right.
You go to the Polynesian Cultural Center, which is sponsored and pretty much ran by BYU.
yeah.
They run missions to all those islands. So when you go to like the Polynesian Culture Center on the north part of Oahu, all those kids are all that's sponsored by Mormons. And so all those tribes, people, whatever you want to call them, you know, natives of their home islands are all Mormons.
Really?
And so when you go to the Utah football team, that's why they have so many like Polynesian freaking
Yeah,
football
that's why
players. And shit.
BYU's got
Yeah.
a ton of them.
And there's a
Really?
The
yeah, a lot
football
of them
coach,
there.
I think, is Polynesian, or he was.
Yeah.
He might have taken another job.
Yeah, but the Mormons
and
like they've
Utah's
run
got-
missions down there, like they're
Yeah.
converting those, bonfire stuff to. I'm just not gonna say it.
Racist.
It's not racist. It's true stories. Not much to do when you're on an island besides make a fire and dance around it.
I guess I guess that's good. Kudos to the mom on that one, I guess.
So
Did I miss the whole story? Did you already talk about it?
It's not the wife's egg. It's a donor egg with the son's DNA.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know. It's she's like 56.
Yeah.
How do you have eggs anymore?
It's not the mom. It's not his mom's egg. I'm saying they got a donor egg and then.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I didn't. I guess I didn't realize how that worked. But that's
Yeah, it's women.
Is it not odd? A little bit. I mean, does that make it? Mom
I think I
and
would try to
grandma?
find like a regular surrogate. I don't think I'd ask my mom to carry my child.
I mean, but the mom's already been beat up and put through hell, so why not? Like,
she's 56.
well, yeah, but like some people like love to get pregnant or like they love that. Like, maybe she just wanted that. I don't know. I mean, look at that the surrogacy program or whatever. You can get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I was going to say those women get paid to do that. Yes.
Yeah, because Shelby,
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, I mean, like
Depends on
100,000,
the person,
200,000. Yeah,
couple.
it depends
Yeah.
on like Colorado. We were looking into it. It was like 250,000 plus like everything on top of like medical and all that paid for. Like, there's some places that'll pay an arm and a leg.
No shit. If you're
For
really
you
good
to
at spitting
be-
them out, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good money. Like, what
That's-
do you do for a living? I make babies.
Because I've got Shelby tucked into it. Like we're this close. In Tennessee, it's not as much. I think it's right at 100,000. Like considering all stuff paid for, it's about
Ugh.
$100,000. And
Oh,
I mean, it'd be easy cash money.
He's pimping out his
easy
wife.
for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this psychopath likes to be pregnant, so she's built like a fucking warrior. So let her just pump some other's kids out. I don't know. I told her she can sleep on the fucking couch if that happens, because I'm not dealing with all that.
Here's your body pillow.
Yeah.
Go make daddy some money
Yeah.
so I can spend thousands
She's like,
of
I'm
dollars on a video
horny.
game.
Sleep with me. No, that's disgusting. Get away from me.
Nutting on some other person's child all the time.
Speaking of being horny, did you see the update on the chess player who insists?
No.
Yeah, he insists he didn't use a sex toy to defeat world champion. Now
He
I
used
didn't
something
notice
else.
the guy was only 19 years old.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
knew
said
that.
that. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. Yeah, he was only 19 years old when he beat the Norwegian Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen, 31, at the Sinquil Field Cup in St. Louis on September 4th. And he, let's see, he said, if they want to, this is a quote from him. If they want to strip me fully naked, I will do it. I don't care because I know I am clean. He said in an interview after his win. You want me to play in a closed box with zero electronic transmission? I don't care. I'm here to win, and that is my goal regardless. So a little
Hey
contrary.
man, every
Nice.
dog has their day. Like,
Yeah.
I know,
he
right?
did legit beat him. I have no idea.
I would.
I mean, it's not like he was looking on the ceiling and seeing the moves unfold, so he knew where to go and what to do. Queen's Gambit. It's a great show.
I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's on Netflix anymore.
So yeah, I thought you guys might like to. I thought you guys would have a little more to add to that, but I guess we're just moving on with that. Is that
I
right?
mean, it's what it is. What it is. I mean, I
I
guess
mean, that's
Magnus
maybe
is a
what they
poor
should
fucking
do.
loser. I guess that's what
Yeah,
we
it
can talk
sounds
about.
like he's a
anyway.
little bitch.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like it's just the guy because he didn't even. That's not even his quote about. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. He was quoting a Portuguese soccer manager in his tweet. So like it wasn't even him. I don't know.
It's just chess. They're just trying to build up drama, get some viewership. Just
I
like,
mean, they
the
should
Major
get them
League
both.
Baseball.
They should get them both butt naked, lube them up, and let them just sit there in a glass container with, steam, and let them play chess butt naked, all steamy and lotiony.
I was like, hey, we got to play one game first. It's called Tummy Sticks.
My king and your king, who's gonna win?
Oh fuck! I was gonna say
Checkmate.
Put it on BBC or something. Let that just run on
pay-per-view event.
Yeah,
Yeah, $50.
And that's where they need to go. They need to take it to the pay-per-view and then they box it out.
yeah. See if Dana White will pick that up.
yeah. Have a little pregame showdown when they announce they have to weigh in.
Oh, that'd be great.
Listen, we've got a good news segment of the week here, gentlemen. And God damn it, who's at the front door? Who is it?
Well, hey, man. Why do you look so low? It looks like you could use some good news. See? Do you feel better now? It's the good news segment of the week. Brought to you by Rob Jackson's Sticky Green. Good news of the week.
North Dakota woman charged after bringing raccoon into bar.
I saw this story.
So Aaron
It was
Christensen.
I thought it was a man. It was a woman that did that.
It was a woman. Aaron Christensen, 38, told authorities that her family found the raccoon on the side of the road about 3 months ago and named it Rocky. Isn't that cute? Anyway, she'd been, I guess, rehabilitating this raccoon they found on the side of the road, getting it back to being healthy, and she brought it to a bar, which prompted state health officials to issue a warning about potential rabies exposure and facing criminal charges.
Yeah, they killed the raccoon too.
Aaron Christensen of Maddock is charged with misdemeanor counts of providing false information to law enforcement, tampering with physical evidence, and unlawful possession of fur bearers. She was arrested last week after authorities found her and the raccoon by serving several search warrants in and around Maddock. They said her family found the raccoon on the side of the road, named it Rocky. She was nursing it back to health with plans to release it back into the wild. Now, it is illegal under North Dakota Board of Animal Health laws to keep a wild raccoon. So they euthanized the animal, and it tested negative for rabies.
Fucking pricks. May's done. He can't handle that raccoons have been, treated so poorly in the state of North Dakota.
I couldn't believe this story, dude. Like, talk about libertarianism right
Or a
here.
little extreme
I know
over a raccoon.
over a
let's
raccoon.
fucking calm down.
Well, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know what to make of this story. It annoyed me because
How
like
is it a good story? How is it good news?
it wasn't. It was a.
I just wanted to play the
was-
jingle.
It just, it's a Kansas City shuffle there. I don't know. Now, I don't know if Spike's coming on. I'm a little heartbroken. I'm a little heartbroken by this, but the reason I wanted to do it is because Devin, you're the libertarian of the group,
Yes.
and whenever I bring up libertarianism to people, the first thing they think is I voted for Biden. Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think they associate the term libertarian with being liberal. And so, I mean, that's the automatic assumption. But what is libertarianism?
Libertarianism is okay, so a brief deal. This is what I believe is, anybody, you do you, as long as it doesn't affect others, right? It should be legal. Like, this is the extreme sense of liberalism. Like, cocaine should be legal, prostitution should be legal. It's like victimless crimes shouldn't be a crime. You know what I mean? So, like, people who do heroin, go do heroin, but also don't come back to me and want free medical care because you fucking killed yourself through chasing the dragon. You know what I mean? You live with your choices as well. And as soon as it starts affecting others, then that's when we're going to have a problem. But a lot of libertarians aren't that extreme. We're more like constitutionalists in a way, would be more proper the term. Like, I'm like, Cohen is an anarchist. Like, he wants it to be that way, ultra freedom. But to get there, you're going to have to be compromising. You just can't have society fucking run around just doing what they will, I guess, to a degree. But I believe in, like, constitutionalism is my main thing, and libertarianism is the closest thing to that I have found.
Well, and it also seems like when it came to issues like that, you're trying to get the federal government out of these decision makings.
Yes.
And
out of your private life, right?
Yeah, because like this story with the raccoon, for example,
libertarians hate that shit.
Yeah, because they're, it wasn't causing anyone any harm. It was just some law that someone made up years ago, and it gives the police the right to raid your house, kill your
They're
animal.
overstepping for sure in a libertarian's viewpoint there. But, like, law is law. I mean, we are a republic, and it is based off of law and not so much democracy, which a lot of people get confused with. Libertarians hate taxation, but it doesn't mean like we just don't believe in taxes at all. We just believe any taxation on your earned income is bullshit. That's slavery in a sense. You know what I mean? You can break it down that way if you want. If you're paying 30% in taxes, technically they're stealing 30% of your labor, which is a form of slavery.
Well, now the argument is that, well, you have to pay taxes, and so you can have paved roads, and you can. I mean, that's the argument, right? Is like
you do it through tariffs and shit, though. You don't just take it from somebody's earned labor, right? It's my idea. I fucking went and did all the work. Why the fuck do I got to give you 25% for you just sitting there in a fucking office? That's bullshit.
So like, the
create a tariff on, like, luxury goods. You know what I mean? Here's a 10% tax on yachts. Here's a
because who says they use that money for the roads or for whatever, and they're not using it for their child's wedding?
Get rid of freaking taxes on income, and freaking when you register your vehicle, all that currency that you use to pay for your registrations goes to fucking roads and maintenance and whatever. You know what I mean? That's the idea. So when you hear libertarians saying taxation is theft, what we mean is taxation on individual income. Earned income is fucking theft. That's what I believe.
Well, and it's not. I don't think people understand the type of taxation that's going on in the U.S. too. When the one that annoys me, well, it doesn't annoy me, it makes me furious, is this death tax that is 50% of, was it the overall value of everything you had?
Yeah,
It's
unless
taxed
you
at 50%.
learn the loopholes.
Yeah, there's
And you put
loopholes
things
to it.
into a trust. Oh yeah, there's all that. Like I have a lot of my stuff is in a trust. So when I die, it's actually a living entity. And like the way a trust works is it's its own
just
thing.
passes,
It's its
yeah.
own living entity, right? So like it'll pass to my kids, but it's not considered my shit. It's the trust stuff, and then it is not subject to the death tax. Well, that's all shit you got to learn. No one teaches you that. I learned it through hanging out with rich people, reading books, and all kinds of shit.
That's the crazy thing too, is they don't want to teach any of that. They want you to be as dumb and
The
as
system is
naive to all
definitely,
of it.
like when I talk about like getting accredited to be able to invest, it fucking used to piss me off so much because I'm like, here I am, I've saved all this cash, and I can invest, but I am not qualified to do it because I'm not a millionaire. Man, that used to piss me off. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to get there if I can't invest in anything that's gonna all the great investments that you can get into, you have to be an accredited investor. That's why I loved crypto so much, because you didn't have to be accredited to get in there and get those 2,000, 10,000% gains, 10x, fucking 20x gains, because it's on the chain. It's separate. I wouldn't say it's not regulated. It's kind of like why it's such the Wild West and people are calling for regulation, why some people have lost tons of money because they did dumb shit. But also, it's a learning curve. But a lot of people got wealthy without having to do all the bullshit, I guess, to get out of the rat race. Because once there's so many investment opportunities I could get into, I'm out of capital to invest. I could make way more even if I had more capital. Like I get offered opportunities all the time during 20%. And I'm like, I'm out of cash, guys. I really want to do this. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Like,
Well, and when you're talking about ending the Fed,
the Federal Reserve is a private bank.
So you're not talking federal government. You're talking.
Yeah, I guess and the Fed is a basic term, but it's in the Federal Reserve because back in 1935 when they created the central bank, did you know that Thomas Jefferson, the only reason he ran for president is so that they would not be able to establish a central bank in the United States? Also, the same thing with Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson ran because they were trying to establish a central bank. He ran to end it, and he stalled it. And Jefferson, yes, he was a Democrat, but Democrats back in the day are not the Democrats of today. And central banks are bad, but they created, that's a private bank. So, and that just has endless amount. They can just create currency out of whim, and we have to pay it all back to those private investors with interest. So when the Fed is buying balance sheets and buying mortgages because they're trying to bail out their friends on Wall Street, that's just, in my opinion, it's the Vanderbilts, the Morgans, Rockefellers.
Let me
own the Federal Reserve, and so when they're able to buy all those fucking mortgages and shit and buy all the real estate, they're stealing from the U.S. population. It's just fucking terrible.
Let me play a clip here from Ron Paul's brother here about the Fed and what it's done to the country here.
1913, the Federal Reserve Act was passed. Floor of the House, where 3 members of Congress were on the floor. At that time, they only needed a majority of votes to pass it. So in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act was passed. 20 years later, 1933, under Roosevelt, the United States was declared bankrupt.
All right. Before we get too far, let's discuss that a little bit. So the Federal Reserve came into power in 1913, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And the Federal Reserve is the central banking system for the United States government, correct?
Right.
And
so you have the U.S. Treasury, right? The Treasury is in charge of like tax income, paying the government's bills. They don't print their own money. like currency or anything. Like that's all the Fed. So the Treasury, what they do is they issue bonds, right, to the market, and that's how they pay for all of our excess. You know, when you hear of a deficit, really all that is they're spending way more money currency than they're bringing in. So we're running $1 trillion deficit. They're spending $1 trillion more dollars than they have tax dollars coming in. So like we're fucked.
So you're saying that the Fed pretty much pushes out money that we don't have, right? So
right, they just created it out of thin air.
They created it out of thin air. Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
that was created in 1913.
They just they can write a check for currency they don't have, give it to the Treasury. The Treasury gives them the bond, and then we pay back that bond with interest. So they get their, say, let's go with $1 million bond. They bought a bond for $1 million with money they didn't have. They just wrote a fraudulent check. It's like if we had $0, we wrote $1 million, gave it to the United States. All right, here's your bond. We're going to start paying you interest on it. So you get your $1 million back with interest on currency you never had to fucking begin with. That's how it works.
All right. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this video because I came across this last night. I think it's interesting.
And in 1933, the Federal Reserve private bank says, okay, USA, what are you going to pledge as collateral on the debt you owe me? What happened by 1936? Does anybody know? We instituted Social Security system, and you and I and our children and our children's children were pledged as collateral on the debt of our government to the Federal Reserve. And that's where we're at today. It took 20 years to make this country bankrupt, and since then, our government has operated under emergency powers of our government. It is not the president that makes the decision in this country. It's the Secretary of Treasury who turns around and is put in there by the Federal Reserve to manage the bankruptcy. We've been in bankruptcy ever since. So to print $700 billion and to give it away, how do they get away with it? The manager of the bankruptcy is told by the Federal Reserve, this is the way to go. That's where we're at today.
So we are the collateral.
Smart, effortless comfort on both sides.
We are the collateral, then, is what he's saying to the reserve.
Which is, it's a private bank. That's what people don't understand. Like the way they named it, everybody thinks it's part of the government. It's freaking not. It's a private bank that we pretty much have given permission to control our currency and money and all that. There's a famous quote by it was something like, give me control of a country's money and I'll show you ultimate power or something like that. It was a really rich dude that said it.
I'll let you look it up while we talk about it. But I just think that it's important to understand how we are the collateral. We're the human resource that pays back the debt. So when we went bankrupt in 1933, and then the deal was struck with the Federal Reserve in 1936, the collateral was the human resources of the United States citizens, correct? That's the understanding I get from what Wayne Paul here is saying. But so, I mean, I just
back then too, when
sort of devalues what you think of yourself as.
Well, the U.S. dollar was gold back then too. Like,
yeah, but when
a whole different world now, but
yeah, when they took it off the gold standard, which so the U.S. dollar used to represent what gold we had in reserve, right?
Okay.
And so
I found the quote.
Oh yeah, go ahead. It
says, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." Mayor Amschel Bauer Rothschild.
Of course, it would be a Rothschild.
I'm just saying, like, I believe the Rothschilds are part owner of the Federal Reserve, along with the Rockefellers and the Morgans.
So who's the Secretary of Treasury right now? Then
I don't
remember.
Let
Sunshine look that up since she can't talk.
Well, that's why when the U.S. Treasury, you ever hear about the $1 trillion coins that they minted at the Treasury?
Yes, yeah, they were talking. they were.
forced the Federal Reserve to buy them.
No, I didn't hear they forced them to
This
buy 'em.
happened in 2008. You can look it up, but I believe they printed 2 of them, and they're made out of platinum or whatever. And they made the Federal Reserve buy them for $1 trillion. It was just pretty much a way to print money without having to sell bonds to like bail out for the freaking banking crisis.
I was in 2008.
I'm pretty sure, like you could just look up $1 trillion coin.
Now, I remember they were talking about it earlier this year. I think we talked.
Oh yeah,
about
they were talking about doing it again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's absolutely crazy to see that we've been in bankruptcy since 1936, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Now, Clinton got us out of bankruptcy, I thought.
No, that was just fancy accounting.
Oh, really?
If you actually look at like money in versus money out, they were still spending more than they were making. Also, here's an interesting fact about the US government. They year on year out, they have never spent less than they had the year before. They always spend more. Every year after, they always spend more money every year. Just tick, 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 tick.
So, well, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like they run the deficits are here to stay. We're, in my opinion, hyperinflation is the only way. Now, what they're doing now is very what you call deflationary, right? So with the Fed raising fund interest rates and stuff like that, they're trying to destroy currency because they printed so fucking much of it. But inevitably, either they're going to let us crash like crazy, and it's going to be very depressing.
What'd they say? 1.4 million jobs they want to cut, or they
that's
cut?
What if you're one of the 1.3? Tough luck. Yeah, your statistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry that because I know it's TikTok, but there's a thing going on in TikTok that people are driving around and like food banks and pantries and stuff are lined up with people that are like,
oh yeah,
just this one lady drove past somewhere in Alabama and she's like, let me just show you. She panned over and it's vehicles or whatever, but she's like, look, that's a Mercedes, that's a Lexus, that's a $80,000 truck, that's an $80,000. Like she was just looking, and they were sprinkled in with, other vehicles and stuff. But she's like, it's crazy because, people got sucked into buying these expensive houses and these overpriced cars and everything else. And now they can't even work enough to put food on their tables, that they have to choose to pay for their vehicle instead of, putting food on their table, and yada, yada. And she's like, it's going to get bad. She's like, repos are already going up. Foreclosures are already going up. So,
yeah,
I mean,
people are living on credit right now, which is bad in my opinion. Like you're just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think you haven't seen like a huge crash yet, because people are delaying it. There are people who have saved a decent amount too because of what has happened. But it's like when you're trying to predict the future, it's like I don't know, but I do believe because of the fiat currency system we're gonna have, like we're gonna see something major. It's either going to be hyperinflation or really bad deflation.
Janet Yellen is the Secretary of Treasury. It'd be interesting to do a little research on her, see what her connections are.
Janet Yellen, she went from being Federal Reserve Chairman to fucking Treasurer.
Well, that's what Warren Paul said, wasn't it? Is the person with power is the Secretary of Treasury, because he's
she's a Keynesian too. And like when you talk about Keynesianism, they believe in like the system that we have now, and no currency ever in world history has ever survived that is a fiat currency.
What does that mean, fiat currency?
So it's not backed by anything.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But back in the day, like in 1935, you could take your $25, go to the bank, and they would give you a gold coin in exchange. Like legit. Awesome.
That's why they're and Devin's been on it for a while, but the big kick on gold and silver and real estate, crypto.
In the Constitution, it actually says in freaking writing, the currency of the United States can only be gold or silver.
Yeah.
It actually says it in it. Because what happened here's a little history lesson. Back when the U.S. first declared independence from Britain, they created their own currency. It was called the colonial. And it went to zero in like 2 fucking years. It went from like, because it wasn't backed by any gold or
Yeah.
anything. It went to
Yeah.
fucking zero. So like all the founding fathers learned a fucking valuable lesson. That's why they put in the Constitution, no central bank. The money can only be gold and silver, because they knew the other way doesn't work long term.
Yeah, because if you come calling and cashing in, and
That's why
you had nothing to give the people.
the greatest risk to us right now, the reason why the U.S. is so powerful, I guess, is because we've had the reserve currency for a while. And a lot of people will understand is when other countries do their trading, they have to trade in U.S. dollars. So if China, now they've kind of are skipping around it, but if China wanted to buy cotton from, say, Chile, they have to get U.S. dollars first, use those dollars and buy the cotton from Chile.
Yep.
Right. And then they get their cotton. And then if Chile wants to keep the US dollars, they can. But they have two choices. So this is another reason why the US dollar remains king, is because those countries have two choices when our currency goes into their system. They can either absolve those dollars. And what ends up happening is it makes their currency worth more against the dollar. So like that's why China, always hear China's cheating, devaluing their currency, because it keeps their products cheaper for us to keep continuing buying. So the only other option for them is, because they don't want to absolve our dollars because it makes the yuan worth too much, is they reinvest the dollars into dollar-backed securities, ergo bonds, corporate bonds. That's the reason what created the housing bubble. Yes, interest rates were low, but you also had tons of foreign currency looking for a home going. That's why loans were so cheap, is because there's billions of dollars sitting here that we need to loan out to people. Fucking get them a loan.
And I think, I know we got off on a tangent on the Federal Reserve, but
I can talk for hours about this.
Well, and I want to tie it back into libertarianism, because the reason why libertarians are unique compared to, and we don't normally talk about politics on the show for a reason, because it's very divisive. But I think we make the exception with libertarianism just because when you're talking about Republican or Democrat, both of those parties in the American political system support the Federal Reserve and want to keep that process of debt continuing on. And they've got a track history since the 1900s of doing so.
This is why I believe they won't do deflation. They're fucking trying, but in the end, deflation makes debt worth way more. Okay, so like deflation, technically, you could look at it. Yeah, prices are coming down, things are cheaper, fine. But if you have fucking like the government, 30 trillion in debt, that's a lot harder to pay off, because if all the prices are coming down, that means tax revenue is going down. You know what I mean? They're having less funds coming in, more they got to borrow, and now their debt is worth more, because in essence, the dollars are worth more. So debt ends up costing a lot more. Governments don't like that. They like inflation is just an increase in the money supply. That's all it is. And so they like to keep it going, because they get to spend their dollars first before the inflation hits everybody else. And so deflation on a government's bad. Inflation is good for them.
And that's what makes libertarians unique to Republicans and Democrats, because they would rather just hard reset and the Federal Reserve, right?
Yeah, it'll be painful as fuck for sure. And libertarians are, you could call fiscally conservative. When it comes to capital spending, we're conservative, but we're also socially liberal. Like where we believe that, like,
well, and that's such
you want to kill your kid. I mean, in an abortion.
That's such a. I don't know how you snuck that in, but congrats.
I mean, that's the extremist part. Like, yeah, you want to do cocaine, but that's on you, bro.
I think, but when you're talking about fiscally conservative, like conservatives say they're fiscally conservative.
No,
but
they're not. They just do it in a different way.
They're not. They're still printing more money than they did the year before.
Yeah. Republicans and Democrats, in my opinion, fiscally, blah, 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 they're the same. Deficit spending. They like to promise that they're going to cut spending. They never have. You can look that up. Every year, the government spends more than they did the year before, and it goes all the way.
Yeah. Also, another aspect of libertarianism is the abuse of power through the police departments. Now, how do libertarians feel about that, like when it comes to controlling the police and the abuse of power.
Yeah, when you hear defund the police, people like think we're just get rid of the police. No, we're saying get rid of the freaking militarization of the police. Like, do they need a tank?
Yes. Yeah. I saw Colorado Springs just got themselves a nice tank.
That's what I mean. Like, bro.
Well, doesn't it make sense in the Springs? I mean,
No,
maybe not for
Colorado
the
Springs
cops,
is kinda,
but
it's a nice little town. I think it's pretty there.
Well, I think it's just, it shows when you talk about militarization of the police, you're seeing they keep amping up their type of, almost to a point of it's not just, I mean, they used to market it as crowd control, right? Like, oh, we're just doing this for crowd control. And, criminals out there have bad weapons, so we need to have better weapons than the criminals. But it's gotten to a point where it's not necessarily what they have at their department, but how they abuse their power. Now, I don't know if you heard about Spike Cohen's website, We the People, or what was it? youarethepower.net. But this is just giving an example here of the case he's been working on. Have you guys seen this Gastonia Police Department on this homeless veteran? I think this is a good idea to show sort of the idea of what libertarians are about. And I'm a big fan of this. This happened a few months ago with this. It was this homeless veteran named Josh Rohr, and he wasn't panhandling on the street, but he was standing in the middle, and people were coming up and giving him money and food, and he had a service dog. So I mean, you could make an argument it was panhandling, but it wasn't like he was there having a sign or anything. People were just coming up, driving up and supporting him. And the cops got called by someone. And this is the interaction that took place here at the Gastonia Police Department.
And keeps like shoving in my face saying this is not violent, and I try to get it from him. He doesn't give it to me. Okay, because North Carolina ID, because we're trying to identify him. So I'm going to put him in handcuffs. He starts resisting.
It's just the escalation of police force.
This is the road. You cannot be out in the road. You need to be out on a sidewalk. You cannot stand here. You cannot set up camp here. You have been here since the last time I told you to move off of here. If you want me to show you a statue, cool. But I'm going to show you a statue taking you to jail.
You can't take me to jail just for standing here, man. Like,
I don't have to show you a statue. You can look that up on your own. You can go to the police department if you feel like your rights are being violated. But you are in the road.
Okay, are you a veteran?
Oh, yes, I'm a veteran.
You're a veteran?
I know, yes.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay. I'm going to also need your ID. So collect your things, and I'm also need your ID.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I get this to a degree, like of what they're trying to do, but it's just it just escalates,
Well, and in this case, like the guy gets his stuff and he goes off the road, and then a while later he goes back and he's back on there, and he's not. I mean, he doesn't have any sign or anything, and there's people driving up to him and giving him money for food for the dog and stuff like that. He's not on any drugs or anything like that. He's just found himself on hard times. And then it escalates to this point.
Dude, I didn't commit this crime.
But you're also in the median after I've told you not to be here before. Have I not said that?
And that's why I was vacating, because she asked me to leave. And I was literally walking up here. I didn't ask anybody for money.
Okay.
That's right. I'm taking this to trial.
You can.
But you can't. Like, you're not allowed to take fucking money from strangers. They're allowed to give you what you want.
Taxpayer dollars.
Okay. I pay my taxes too.
So he's about ready to give him his ID.
There you go.
No, your state ID, not your VA
this
ID.
Isn't valid. It's not valid.
I need your state ID.
So he goes to offer him his veteran ID, which is valid and counts as a form of identification. But this cop is just like had enough. So
your VA ID. I'm gonna ask you one more time.
It's not even valid.
Turn around. You're being arrested.
What for, dude?
Turn around.
Are you kidding me?
Why, bro?
See this? Somebody help me! Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come on! What are you
Now he's got a service dog named Sunshine. Shout out to Sunshine over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his PTSD dog because this guy suffers from PTSD from serving in the military. And according to the police report, the dog had bit the officer, and so they tased it. Now, they fought for the police video of this for 7 months before it was given out.
Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Help me. Call your dog off. Sir, call your dog off. Call your dog off. He just bit me. He bit me. Call your dog.
Who?
He's saying the dog bit him.
Look at the dog. He's smiling.
This dog is like
The dog's got a
away
cute
from
little hat on. I mean, even the lady was like, "Oh no, that dog ain't gonna bite."
Call your dog off. Hey! Call your dog off. Call your dog.
So now they tased the dog. They claim they shot it but didn't tase it in the official report, so that was a lie.
We need more units. We need more units. What are you doing?
The dog gets hit by a car and dies.
Oh, who the fuck is that guy? Who hit the dog?
Well, the dog had, got tased, so it was not was.
Where was that at?
This was in Carolina. One of the Carolinas. I don't know which one. But anyway, they ended up dropping all the charges against him. But they Spike Cohen, and he's founder of this youarethepower.net, which I encourage everyone to look up. He shared this video, and they sent like over 50 million messages to the Gastonia Police Department, just blowing it up, And what I admire about it is he's been there talking at the council meetings and everything, but they were trying to push for an investigation. Well, the father of the officer is the one that's in charge of internal investigations. Mm-hmm. So they found no wrongdoing. And so, so this is the type of stuff that's going on in different police departments. He also shared a video of a school lockdown in Austin after a supposed, gun threat. And let me see if I can show you the video of that here too.
The same officer?
No, this was in a different area. But like, a parent, and Texas is, right now it's sort of,
I saw you. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this.
And they, I don't know why my thing isn't loading up, but, they tackle the parent and arrest him and drag him off during the middle of a school lockdown for a potential shooter. And this is just the type of stuff that's starting to go on all across these police departments. And then they don't get any repercussions for their actions. They're shielded from the internal investigations and stuff. So if you guys get a chance, I encourage you to go become a member of youarepower.net, because I think it's that stuff's really important to shine light. And I think we're not going against all cops by saying this. I don't think, Devin. I think
there are some good cops, but in my opinion, it's way more swayed. It's not like there's 10% bad cops. There's way more bad cops than they like to fucking admit. And then shit just escalates, especially when they get annoyed. And have you seen the one of the two sisters where they get pulled over? The one sister gets pulled over, and the other sister, she's following her, right? Because she doesn't know where she's going.
Mm-hmm.
So the other sister had pulled up, and she's not like sitting right in front of that car. She's probably 20 yards ahead of it. And the officer's telling her, you need to tell your sister to leave. She's like, I don't know where I'm going. He's like, I don't care. She's got to pull forward. And they just escalated to the extreme and threatened to arrest him and all this stuff. And they were just pulling her over because she didn't have a valid registration on her license plate or something. But it just got way out of hand, And it was like a classic video of what not to do as a police officer. He slams the door on her. She's like, it's two sisters in California. You could look it up. It was all over the news earlier this year. But I just It's rare if I come across a police officer that's cool. Most of them are authoritative pricks.
Well,
and
and
if you
it's
question them at all, it just instantly escalates because they can.
yeah. Well, and it's a power trip, and I think that's what I find appealing about the Libertarian Party is, and they don't get a lot of the votes during the election process because they're pretty much banned from any of the debate process. I think if people heard about what libertarians are and what they believe about.
Well, the problem is too, like I think Spike is guilty of this since he's not on the show and talk a little shit. Of too extreme. Like I wanted to talk to him about it. I'm like, dude, like, to a certain point, we got to chill the rhetoric of like what real libertarian wants. Like, what can we just tone it down to? Like, hey, we need to rein in the IRS. We need to rein in. This is what we're about. I'm a real big fan. I'm a real big fan of pardoning people that are in a victimless crime. You know what I mean? Like. Here's a crazy part. Like weed is legal here in Colorado, and it's legal in a lot of other states now. But there's some states, that motherfucker doing 10 years for half an ounce they had in the back of his truck. You know what I mean? Or he happened to have a pistol in there too. So now they got him with a felony, and he's a drug dealer because he had a pistol in there with his drug. It's fucking extreme. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's get with that. Let's reduce our prison systems. Let's, like, when you're talking extreme anarchy, like they're talking about, like they're just gonna fire all the IRS in one shot. Like people like raises their eyebrows, just like when I raise my eyebrows to a flat earther when they say the nukes don't exist. It has the same effect on regular citizens when you say, "Oh, I'm going to end taxation," without any explanation of like what your real plan is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in a way, if you explain how
Spike's
deficits
not coming
work,
on,
if I don't know,
you just keep doo-dooing on him.
I'm gonna keep doo-dooing on him. Fuck him.
Whoa.
You don't come on like you're not following up on your promise. You say you're gonna be on the show, and you're not.
It's all right. Calm down. It's okay.
I am just
saying, schedules happen.
I know. Libertarianism, I feel like we got to rein it in a little bit because we lose people with that extremism. We're like, oh yeah, I think you should be able to do hooker, do blow, bang a hooker, and all this other stuff. Yeah. Yes, to a degree, but can we chill out just a little?
Well, I think the whole drug argument is actually just based off of the war on drugs, which is a federal initiative, and that, it's a medical problem. It's not a federal, policing problem.
Yeah, but what I've ran into with my friends is that like libertarians are the extremists of the political system because we believe in like just anarchy, I guess, is what the main
like you said though, if you just dial it down a little bit, you take that burner and you get it off a high and you go to like medium and you let that simmer for a while, it'll then you could turn it up to high and let the bitch cook. You got to calm it down for a minute.
Like stop wearing your fucking taxation and theft fucking cat in the hat. Like no one's gonna take you seriously,
right? Yeah, but I mean, that's crazy because I stumbled upon that story in Portland where they're like, I think it's Portland, where they give out like needles, clean needles, and like they have apartments like you can pretty much go and die in or do drugs in just to get you off the street.
Yeah,
no,
that's I don't know if that's the libertarian model. The libertarian model is like, we're not going to help you kill yourself. You get just do it. You know what I mean?
Well, and you think about, how, you talk about marijuana being legalized in a bunch of states. You see how it's working out in California. They're making all these deals with drug lords in Mexico to ship in their marijuana. And so you've got that problem when the federal government's involved in the legalization of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, heavily regulated, or you run into the exact opposite problem where you ban substances like that. And now you're giving all the money to the drug lords because people are still going to do drugs. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You're just creating a plethora of more problems by getting the federal government involved in it when it should just be up to, if it's up to you and you want to grow a little weed or you want to shoot up heroin or whatever it is, and you're not affecting anyone and you're going to die when you're 35, then that's your choice.
Yeah, the
Like-
heroinism is a little extreme, but yes, and in essence, that's kind of like how libertarians feel.
Well, if they would just do their homework, I mean, but then you go in that battle with big pharma, where
Yeah, that's another problem. I mean, it's just
because they don't want to get oxy and all that off the streets, and they don't want to subscribe marijuana for your common this or that. They want to throw you full of pills so you get hooked, so you
Yeah.
just keep coming back.
they
so
treat
they
the
can just
system
keep
and not
cash
the
cowing it.
actual. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's treat the symptoms and not actually cure anything. The other thing I run into too, I have a lot of people that I know that don't vote because they don't agree with either party, which I kind of get with. But I'm like, dude, you should at least reason why I vote with Libertarian. Like before, I used to pick the lesser two evils too. I used to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm voting for Bush because I can't stand Gore. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
guilty of it too. But the last time I voted for Jorgensen because I'm like, I'm going to.
So you voted for Obama?
No, I did not vote for Obama. I voted for Trump the first time and not the second. And then, because I do believe Trump.
Thanks. Now we got Sleepy Time Joe in the
Trump
office.
is
Thanks,
great.
Devin.
On
Thank
a
you,
fiscal-
Devin.
on
Your
a fiscal-
vote matters.
On a fiscal level, Trump was good, but all the other stuff not so much. But I just decided, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm just gonna vote how I want, regardless of if it's a win or lose, because I'm gonna vote with what I believe in, and not the lesser two evils. And there's too many people that just vote for the other way. And I know I have Democrat friends that do this and Republican friends. They just tote the party line because they're just don't agree with the extremist part of the other party. And yes, he's an idiot, but I'd rather have him than this guy. It's ridiculous. And
Sunshine made a point here. I think they're trying to cut down on diseases like hepatitis C and such by regulating those drugs. But I think you get to a point too, though, like if those people are participating in unhealthy activities, hepatitis C is what becomes of it. And it's not the federal government's job to sit there and try to help people not get, hepatitis C. It's just not their position.
Well, see, that's the main difference between, like I'd say, Democrat and Republican is a Democrat believes that it should be up to government to determine safe practices of a society, just in very broad generalization, where a Republican or a conservative believes in the individual decision to regulate morality in society. And that's the main difference, is where a Democrat wants someone else to let's make laws and do it through the justice system to regulate this, where on a conservative side they're more like it should be up to the individual, not laws. So that's where the main clash and differences comes from. Libertarians are kind of in the middle.
I think if anything from this episode wasn't a complete loss, I think people should research libertarianism, because I think it's the way to go. And we don't, it's not like we're backing one side or the other, but I think these are things that people need to think about when it comes to who you're voting for, because when it comes to right or left, it ends up being the exact same.
I do think you're seeing a revolution in just technology and information. Like, I think the two-party system is going to fall apart to a degree, because there's just going to be so much viable information where people can be reached without it being a debate, a political debate. I mean, I didn't even watch any of the fucking debates, mainly because the person I wanted in it wasn't able to join it. But even when it was just Bush and Biden, or Trump and Biden, I didn't watch it. I'm like, oh, let's just catch the highlights. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but with TikTok and social media now,
it needs to crumble. I mean, will it? I don't know. But I mean, throw a third party, throw 5, 8, 16 parties in there just to fucking, see. But I mean, it's I don't know. I mean,
well, I think you're starting to see the crumbling of the news media. I mean, we've seen it happen for a while now, but now that, there's really only one generation left that really believes the news media is telling
the truth. The boomers.
The boomers. And
they watch the news. All my parents, my wife's parents, they watch the news. I'm like, I have not watched.
Papa, why do I come in and CNN's always on the tube?
Yeah.
On the channel I got that. And
go and get my latest. Go and get the latest variant shot, so we're safe. I'm like,
But that generation is almost done with, and I think a lot of people get their information now online. They have a ton more access to look for, even if they have
getting called out by their friends for fucking fake articles. So now they've learned how to research to make sure they're not posting bullshit articles.
Yep.
You notice that? Like, there's a
Yep.
lot of bullshit articles that really don't get put. Every once in a while, you'll catch a friend do it, but it's pretty rare anymore if you catch someone posting something total bullshit, or inevitably someone is in the comments going, "Bro, I looked it up. This is horseshit."
I mean, you're starting to worry too, like, the ABC and the CBS are now getting replaced with the Google and the, the Facebook.
That's real. Like the censorship of YouTube and Google, and like we've talked about before, that is definitely a real concern. That's why a lot of people love the blockchain. And I posted in our group a while ago about that search engine that's going to be coming out on crypto.
Yes,
look it up. Like, that looks legit as fuck. Awesome. Decentralized search engine would be fucking fabulous.
I think people are starting to see that too. So anyway,
that would help, right? I mean, so that way these old people quit getting scammed and giving up their little money when
I don't know.
somebody
People get
calls to
scammed
take
all the
their
time,
money.
like, because I'm in the crypto space, and when I tell people, when you first get in it, man, like, don't trust fucking any emails you get. Don't click on links with your wallet open. A lot of times, like, I don't have my crypto wallets on my mobile device at all because I just feel like it's a security risk. But also, when I do find a project, I can look at shit on my phone and know that all my crypto is safe because none of my crypto is on my phone. So I can research projects. I can maybe go to it, not a shady link, but I'll research stuff without feeling the threat of something getting hacked. And that way, when I go do it, I know it's a legit source, or I go to the legit source to get to where I'm going. I don't just trust a random link sent by a friend, or I have my DM shut off so nobody can even just send me a DM, because in the crypto space, I'm known as a whale, and I get tagged on Twitter for so much fucking bullshit. It's crazy. I'm like, will you stop tagging me on this? Because this is a scam, you fuck.
We did get one message in the Curious Mind line. Where the fuck is Spike? Must be a liberal. All right. So.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out what happened. But great. I still think killer show, guys. Good job. Sunshine, thanks for signing for us today. Really appreciate the inclusiveness of everyone here.
Yeah, if you guys want to have a talk about the Federal Reserve and the whole system, the way the system works, I'm down. I could talk for hours about it. I've researched it so much over the last 15 years of my life.
Next week,
we just hope this wasn't dry like the first time. We hope you enjoyed this segment.
We're gonna do a story on Ruby Ridge next week.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Ruby Ridge. So
what about Ford? We're gonna let Devin run with that again.
Devin, are you ready to do the Ford, or
give me a week?
Ruby Ridge is gonna be great too.
That'll be a good one.
Dope.
And then I'll do Ford after that, because he's got like 90 articles on.
Okay, yeah, banging out the research for it. All right, what are you going to work on, May?
I need something. I need something a little happy, or just maybe completely dark and bullshit. I don't know.
Grand Canyon's the road to Africa.
That out.
Yeah,
fucking whatever that is. Like, get out of here.
It is. That's so great.
Okay. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
The whitewater raft into Africa.
Shut up, May. God damn it. Have a good week.
All over Earth bullshit.